gonna sync it up. Sorry. Hello. We're gonna redo that one.
That's a
Good.
blooper for that's a blooper.
That's a good start. Oh my god. Hello, and welcome to Do You Watch Anime? My name is Adam Corky, and this is a show where I sit down with a guest and ask them, "Do you watch anime?" And we go from there. And today, joining me is cosplayer and nerd, Gingie Blue Cosplay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, do you watch anime?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Full Metal Alchemist sweater, the
Yeah.
JoJo tattoo. Yeah. I totally don't watch anime. Anime sucks.
Yeah.
I'm obviously being a turd. Yes, I do watch anime.
All good. So, how did you first get into anime?
In keeping with like the millennial Pokemon Sailor Moon like vein, that was obviously like my start because like I wasn't able to access the Pokemon games as a kid, so I would watch the show because that's more accessible to a 6-year-old kid with no money. And I had like VHS tapes of like Sailor Moon, so this is like the like ye old dub from the 90s.
Yep.
And like I kind of go like back and forth. Like I've like got really into it when I was like a preteen, and then I was like, ew, gross. And then as I got older in like my university years, I got back into it, and then during university I took a break, and now I'm back. So every once in a while there's like an anime that will get me, and then I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm back in.
So what were some of the anime that like got you back into anime? Because it's really
Definitely Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
I started watching around when Brotherhood was like starting to do like weekly releases. So I watched all of the original series, which is fine in its standalone, but like obviously Brotherhood is the superior of of the two, and that is the hill I'm going to die on. But I found it like it was just like it wasn't like the like monster of the week or like the like we defeated them with the power of friendship. Like it was something like visceral and realistic, and there was a lot of emotional weight to it. Where like your favorite characters, they're not invincible. I had actually during a moment of insomnia this morning, I watched this entire like analysis about like The Incredibles and how like those dark themes were kept in there.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. Like those dark themes were kept in there because Brad Bird was like, I want kids to see this, and kids should be seeing this because like the world isn't black and white and good always triumphs over evil. There's always going to be that risk that like your favorite character is going to die, or one of your faves is going to have like a life-altering injury that's going to impede them for the rest of the series. So that's what I really liked about FMA was that it kind of gave that like realism. It didn't sugarcoat anything. And I have an older sibling, so that kind of sibling dynamic and that sibling story really like hit me right in the honey nut Felios. So like, and like any dynamic with like siblings is always guaranteed to get me. So that was like the first one that made me kind of go back and like reconsider like, okay, yeah, anime's not all the same. It's not all like it's the power of friendship and good will always triumph over evil because like the world's not like that. Yeah. And I appreciate shows that kind of give that dynamic.
Yeah. When I when I got back into anime in college, I first watched Your Lie in April.
Oh, good start.
Yeah. And then my college friend was just like, here's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I was like, okay. And then I'm just like, why did you start me off with the best? Because everything else, I'm just like...
Yeah, like the bars like was on the floor, and now it's like up in heaven tap dancing with St. Peter, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why when people are like, what do I do to get into anime? I was like, don't watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah. Watch a couple of series first, and then watch it because you don't want to start so high because you are just going to go...
Yeah, and then like your expectations are going to be like, well, it's not as good as FMA's, and I guess not. Yeah. But like another one that kind of really drew me back in was Gurren Lagann. Okay. And that show is a masterpiece, and I think just in general, it is like required watching for anybody getting into anime. Yeah. Because it's iconic. It's to an extent realistic. Keep in mind, this is Trigger.
Yeah.
Trigger, although I love Trigger and a lot of their shows and a lot of their like OVAs I really like.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about Darling in the Franxx unless you want like full media analysis. It's not my vibe. Like I tried it, I couldn't. I got half like 15 minutes into the episode. I'm like, this is foul. Sorry, everyone. But that's another one that just kind of brought me back in because like, yes, it is like, big mechs fighting and blah, blah, blah. But it's also like almost like I see it as almost like an allegory for like anxiety because like Simone is just so like he feels so insignificant at the beginning because he feels like he needs to always be protected by like Kamina and Yoko and the rest of Team Daiguren. And then as he gets older and as he matures and kind of comes into his own, he kind of starts to gain that confidence. And even though the ending, while bittersweet, is still kind of a bummer. No spoilers, please watch it.
Yeah.
And like, even though like he kind of goes through it, he gains that confidence in the end. So that's something that that kind of drew me in and like brought me back in because at that time I had undiagnosed anxiety. So my life was a hot mess.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I was going through like a really, really awful time. So like, and like a lot of that was tied to anxiety. So I felt like, I'm like, okay, I feel seen by this show. So that was another one that just kind of like brought me back in.
Yeah. That's why I love mech anime because it's stupid ridiculous and then it's just like, oh, here's some deep shit. Like
Evangelion.
Yeah. What's that about?
I think it's about Jesus and we ran out of budget.
Yeah.
I always feel like whenever I'm rewatching Evangelion, it's like, is this because like I know Anno was like, I included Catholic imagery because I thought it looked neat, but I'm like, are you just saying I just think it's neat, or are you trying to David Lynch me? Yeah. And like make me like, should I take this seriously, or are you just screwing with me? Yeah. Kind of vibe, which is what David Lynch does because he does all this wacky stuff, and you're like, should I sit and think about this cerebrally, or should I just take it at face value and just be like, it's silly, it's fine. Yeah. But Evangelion's like another show I would consider like required watching if you're trying to either get back into anime or trying to get into anime because like it's iconic, and even though they did kind of, for lack of a better term, fuck up with their budget and they ran out of budget like I think around episode 16 and you can tell that they ran out of the budget. Yeah. But what they did with that, they just took it and they're like, okay, yeah, we have no more money. This is literally being paid for with chicken nuggets. Yeah. We're just going to make this work. We're going to Tim Gun this. We'll make it work. Yeah. And they did. And at the end, like the final scene, I was bawling my eyes out. So the 10 out of 10, watch again. But also episode 16 is when the budget goes.
Good to know. Good to know. I've seen one episode.
It's not easy to get into, but like it starts to pick up after a little bit.
Yeah. When I first watched Gundam Wing, I never grew up with it. I was just I watched it as an adult for the first time. I was like, oh, this is going to be like shoot, shoot, bang, bang, like awesome robots. And it was just like the first episode was like child soldiers. And I'm like, awesome, cool, this is great. And then it's just like, they're all fucked up. And I'm like, awesome, sick.
Yeah, that's the same vibe of Evangelion.
Yeah,
like you're just like, oh
well,
god.
I've seen the first episode, and I was like, oh, okay, it's got the same kind of vibe going. Okay,
it's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those child soldier and.
Speaking of child soldiers, this is like a complete, sort of related. It's animation adjacent. Yeah. My partner is really into like Western animation, so like Avatar: Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Owl House, Steven Universe, all that stuff.
Also good.
Also child soldiers.
Yeah.
And anytime she's introducing me to something, I'm like, does this have to do with child soldiers again? I watch like this 2 episodes and I'm like, bitch, they're child soldiers again. God damn it. Can we just watch a show where kids are like fine?
Yeah. No.
No. We have to break them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just have to make everything sad.
Yeah.
Like Pussycat. Everything must be sad.
Yeah. Like Avatar's probably my favorite show of all time. Like anime, everything, all time. And yeah, it didn't. It took the second rewatch to be like, oh yeah, they kind of are.
We are sending our children to war.
Yeah.
But hey, they got superpowers. It's fine.
Yay! Yeah, it's
For
just yeah. It's the same. It's the same with My Hero. It's the same with My Hero.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like sending kids to war. Awesome, but they got superpowers and they're really cool.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. We'll just make the fights all big and flashy.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna care the fact that our main character's in a crumpled heap at the end of the episode.
Yeah, literally.
I didn't get too far into My Hero. Unfortunately, it just wasn't my vibe.
Yep.
I got about like 5 episodes into it, and I was like, okay, yeah. I understand why some people like it. Not my jam. So
Yeah.
I'll cut my loss in.
Yeah,
Like, if I want to watch it again, I'll go back to it. But,
of course.
yeah, that was definitely something that I had noticed too. I'm like, why are they fighting?
Yeah,
Why is it war? Why is this adult like training this teeny tiny child
yeah,
to literally be fucking Superman?
yeah.
This kid's gonna be in a walking cast for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
Like,
straight up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oof.
There's I think there's like a teacher meeting or something that happens and they're like, okay, we're gonna send we're gonna just like, okay, we have the kids, okay? We're gonna go to war. And I'm just like, no one thought secondly.
They can't vote. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, no one rethought this. No one in the room was just like, how about no?
How about we don't send teenagers to war? How
Yeah.
about we don't do that?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be the last.
Yeah, they are the last like line of defense.
They didn't just go, let's send
Yeah,
them
yeah,
right
yeah. But
Front
it's-
lines, there
it's
you go.
Still,
now. It's so dire.
yeah,
They are already partly trained.
yeah,
Yeah.
They need all the help, or else everybody else is gonna die.
yeah,
Yeah, for the greater good, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, these poor children, like,
I'm back in the building again.
Yep.
Child soldiers.
yep. God. So when picking an anime, because like you said, you dropped My Hero at CC and Jesus episode 5. What is kind of like your benchmark for like I'm going to continue this or I'm going to kind of just like not for me?
So it's part like, am I interested in the story? Am I getting invested in these characters? And is the animation nice? And my final, and it's an absolute deal breaker, does the OP slap?
Okay, yeah, that's valid.
Yep. So if I'm watching a show and like the animation is beautiful and I'm kind of getting invested in the characters, but the OP is not so good, I'm like, do I want to keep going? Then by like episode 15, I'm like, I just skip the OP.
Yeah.
Like I'll keep going, like, but that is what really makes or breaks a show for me. Is
Okay.
if like is the music really good? Because
Okay.
like a little tangential. I grew up with like a very wide variety of music, and I took like music classes in school. I've done choir. I've got like a broad appreciation for music. So when I'm engaging in a show, that's something that's like at the back of my mind because that sets the whole scene, right?
Yep.
Like any fight could be like good or bad, but if it has like a solid soundtrack, like full of like leitmotifs and like crescendo to like from like very quiet to like super duper loud right at like the apex of the fight, that is also a factor for me because I see it as like a whole entertainment experience. And to be honest, I have a preference for like anime as art.
Yeah.
So like Wolf Children was something that I ended up liking more than I thought. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend that you do. It's fantastic. Bring tissues because it makes me cry consistently without fail every time, and I do not cry.
Wow.
Yeah, I am like an emotional husk when it comes to some things. Like my partner's like sitting next to me, just bawling her eyes out, and I'm like, there, babe, and I'm just like keeping it together. But then like I watch Wolf Children, I'm like, just tears everywhere.
Yeah.
But definitely like that's a part. That's definitely a factor that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if the animation sucks, which can be a huge bummer because like the promo images and the character design can just be beautiful, but if the animation looks like it was done by a preteen with their eyes closed on like Adobe, then I'm like I can't do this because like it looks ugly.
Yeah.
Or like if like I'm not a fan of like the voice acting or the writing, like I keep trying to branch out into things that I'm like I haven't quite heard of. And I had gotten like a thirst trap on TikTok for a character from Buchigiri.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I have to watch this. 'Cause this guy looks like an absolute fucking asshole and he's beautiful.
Yeah.
I need to watch the show. I watched it and like, it was awful. It was so bad and I was so disappointed. Cause like, I have a lot of experience with media studies because that's something I kind of brought up in conversation while we were planning this is that my big thing is overanalyzing things.
Yeah.
Because I've got a degree in history. So like when I'm like interacting with things, I take a very media critical stance and I have like technically enough credits to qualify for a women's studies minor, but like, I can't watch anything without thinking about the Bechdel test. So, like, I'm watching Buchigiri. I'm like, why is there only one girl in the show?
Yeah.
And, like, why, like, and then why is our main character constantly, like, throwing herself, like, himself at her feet?
Yeah.
Like it rubbed me the wrong way, and it was such a pisser because the character design was so good.
Yeah.
And, like, that thirst trap I saw was really good. So I was like, shit, I should watch that. I just was just woefully disappointed.
Yeah.
And you know what the absolute, like, worst part about it? It was a MAPPA show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but I saw, I was like, oh, Mappa's doing an original. Okay. Weird.
I think they should just stick with, like, adapting manga at this point. I mean, because they tried it with Yuri on Ice, and they really, like, had something with Yuri on Ice. And I'm sitting here thirsting for more. It's been almost a decade. Like,
oh, they canceled it, so it's not going to happen.
I'm
so sad.
I am
Literally,
so
I'm just like, yo, like, they made you.
Yeah.
Like, Yuri on Ice made you.
Yeah.
Don't fight.
Yeah, and, like, MAPPA, like, I found that, like, after that, like, MAPPA's, like, animation thing.
Yeah.
Because I find, like, certain animation studios just kind of have, like, what they do best. They do really, really great rotoscoping.
Yes.
So, for the uninitiated, rotoscoping is when they take, like, video reference of, like, say, someone figure skating or, like, someone doing martial arts, and then they animate on top of it. And they did a lot of that for Yuri on Ice because they had to work with figure skaters, and that's, like, a lot of complicated work. So they would rotoscope on top. And you kind of see that a little bit in, like, Jujutsu Kaisen in the first ending. Like, that ending is completely rotoscoped.
Yeah.
And I find that's what MAPPA does best.
Yeah.
But when they try to... Excuse me, friend. You just bumped my mic. Sir, I know you want to be the main character, but... unfortunately, this is not the Casper podcast.
Yeah.
As much as he would like to think so. But, like... I forgot where I was going because I got distracted by
Rotoscoping.
MAPPA,
not.
And I found that they didn't do a lot of, like, or they didn't do any rotoscoping in Buchigiri, and I was like, that is, like, your opportunity. This is your, like, original piece.
Yeah.
And then you just plop out the hottest, fattest turd onto Crunchyroll, and then I'm sitting here watching it dying inside because I thought this was going to be great, and it was not great.
Yeah, yeah. So, going on animation that kind of gets bad.
Not Evangelion. They did their best.
Yeah. So, I've said this on the podcast a couple times. Episode 23 of Black Clover. I'm pretty sure it's episode 23. Literally, the animation just goes... Like, it just goes into the dirt, and I'm like, literally, the fact that I could understand, like, I could tell. Asta turned around and went, "What is that?" And I texted.
The fuck is this?
I texted Froppy, and I was like, "How long does this? How long does this go on for?" And she's like, "Oh well, I didn't really notice." Blah blah blah. I was like, "They look like potatoes." Like, and that's the thing with because they were week to week. they were stretching their animation team so thin
Yeah.
that because I was just like, okay, you know what? I really like the story. I really like the characters. I'm gonna suck it up. But
Yeah.
oh my god, why does he look like a potato? Why are two eyes here? I'm like,
Why has his nose migrated to his chin?
yes, exactly. And like the action scenes, perfection, beautiful. I love it. We love it. But it was just like the standing still scenes where I'm like, why does he look like that? I was like, don't take me out of this, please. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like you got the Wish version of Black Clover.
yeah. And I'm like, just
What I ordered versus what I got.
exactly, yeah. And it was just such a shift that I was like, something's wrong.
Just like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I see where all the criticism is coming from. Yep. Oh god, because like, another one that kind of, I don't know. I'm very divisive on Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 to season 2.
Yeah.
Was so different.
Oh yeah.
I loved it, but it was still like, whoa, like different direction, everything. It took me that whole like arc with young Gojo and stuff. That was like my kind of like, okay, I gotta get used to this animation style because it's gonna stay. It's that kind of ugly Attack on Titan. Because when they announced like Mappa's doing Attack on Titan, I'm like, okay, cool. I like what they were doing before they moved studios, but it's fine. And then they showed a poster, and I was like, uh-oh, because no offense or all offense, I don't know. I don't like Attack on Titan's art. It's kind of
I that's something I can get on board on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just like, why Levi look like that? Like,
why does everyone look like they were outlined with a broad tip Sharpie?
yeah.
Like one of those magic markers you get at the dollar store that smell like ass.
Yeah.
That you use to like write anime con this way.
Yeah.
That's what the lines remind me of, and it's just like Demon Slayer has something similar, but like it works in a way, because Demon Slayer is quite stylized, and I feel like Attack on Titan gets very like they try to be very realistic, because it is about war, and I have like my own like personal reservations about it. Like I'm not going to get into it on the pod because it is very political.
Yes.
But like I watched the first couple of seasons and I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't bad. I started reading the manga in the interim.
Yeah.
And then when it just got to the point where it's just like the call is coming from inside the walls, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, hi, I'm Karen. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It just got too much for me. And then just sort of as someone who's a history major.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like historical references and context to it. So I'm like, morally, I cannot keep watching this.
Yeah.
And it just, there are things that you watch and it just kind of makes you go, ooh.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, no.
Yeah.
Just like tap out. I'm done. Get me out of the ring. I can't fucking do this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could write a master's thesis on why I don't like Attack on Titan as someone who used to watch it and got into the hype like about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it's 10 years.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That made my back hurt.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to take a Robaxin when I get home and just be like, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm calling old.
I recently had someone on the show. They're like, I watched this in high school, and I was like, I am so old. I am so old.
You can just feel like just all of your joints collectively building arthritis.
Yeah. Attack on Titan just completely
just like oof.
I will say, and this is going to be a hot take, I prefer Demon Slayer's animation to Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I understand the artistic what they were going for. I just like I don't know. Demon Slayer feels more smooth. Something like that. I don't know.
I mean, Utofable is like that is some like top tier animation. They've done stuff for like I think they've done like a bunch of like Fate stuff, and like Fate is like those big, beautiful, like massive fights with like characters wearing ornate armor, and it's just magic and flames and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what they're good at. But a criticism I had heard of Utofable is that they don't pay their taxes.
Oh no, they don't.
Yeah. Tax fraud out the wazoo, and that's probably why they have so much money to make things look good.
Exactly.
Because tax fraud.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Don't pay your taxes, guys.
Yeah.
Pay your taxes, please.
More child soldiers.
Who don't pay their taxes.
Who don't. Oh my god. But yeah, I just. I'm trying to
articulate it.
Yeah.
Like the words are there. You know what you want to say, but mouth is like.
Yeah. So my favorite. We're gonna talk about Demon. You've seen all.
Oh yeah, I've watched Demon Slayer
Okay.
like several times
Okay.
over. Like, I'm working on a panel.
Yeah.
Come in Yeti-Con. Please come see my panel. Kaisha Secrets.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite part about Demon Slayer?
That's like asking me which one of my children do I prefer the most. And the answer is Wendell. No, it's not. I love all my children equally.
Yeah.
Pet children, not human children. I'm a millennial. I ain't got no time for that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I really like about Demon Slayer. And like for me, like I go through periods of really significantly giving a shit about a show for like 5 years straight. And the last time I'd actually given a shit about like a show that like of this kind of caliber was JoJo.
Okay.
I am huge JoJo garbage. Like I love it. I love it so much. It's the wackiest thing on the planet.
Yep.
And like the guy who his name is escaping me.
Yeah.
Damn it. Oh, Araki-san. Yeah.
Yes.
He's been writing JoJo for so long. He's like, I don't even know where I am at this point. Like,
Yep.
it's just like fuck it, we ball, and I appreciate that. And all the characters' names are like references to dad rock, and like I mentioned earlier, I had a very like broad upbringing with music, so like I understand all of these like stupid dad rock like references. Just like yes, Dan of Steel. Steely Dan. It's Steely Dan. But the English dub was like, we don't want to get sued, so you're going to be Dan of Steel. But a big thing that like really draws me into Demon Slayer is that animation, because like I like to interpret like Demon Slayer as like anime as high art.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, they don't pay their taxes, but they do produce this beautiful animation, and that's something that Demon Slayer really needs, because like it's big fights and they're doing all these like fancy like sword moves, and I mean probably IRL they're just flourishing a sword,
they're just like
but you're just like you see like that water dragon and like the Hinokami Kagura, and you're like
you're like whoa.
Beautiful.
And
I definitely see it as like high art, because I mean all art is valid. And it's also a sibling story, and that's something that really gets me right in the feels. And I just found myself like every time there's like a new character introduced, I'm like, okay, I like this character. Like when you first meet Tanjiro, you're just like, oh, he's such a sweet little guy. Like, and then all this bad stuff happens to him, and you're like, oh my god, no. No, he's such a sweet kid. What the fuck? Fuck you, evil Michael Jackson. Like, seriously. Literally, like, calling the police on that guy. Like, let's be real. But as they're introducing characters, I just find myself starting to care for them, because they take that time to kind of give the background and give that flashback. Even though it kind of feels like Goku charged in the Spirit Bomb for 3 episodes. It gives you that context to why these characters are the way that they are. So, like, even though Tanjiro went through all this, like, grueling stuff, he still came out of it, like, as he's, like, sending off a demon, he's, like, praying for their soul. And he's, like, the experience that he had didn't break him. I mean, yes, absolutely terrible. But that kind of lets you, like, care for him, because you see his struggle, you see what he's gone through, and then he comes out on top. And while it was not a completely bloodless, climb, it was development, and that's what I think they really do best, because it's such a big ensemble cast that they have to kind of spend that time like fleshing these characters out. I mean, I could take or leave Zenitsu, because I've I've had my fair share of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say sexist, but female excited
Yeah.
side characters. But I find myself like Inosuke. I'm like, okay, this guy's a fucking idiot.
I love him.
But I love him. I have a thing with collecting himbos in anime. So if they are pure of heart, broad of chest, and dumb of ass, I want to keep them in my pocket as like my child. Like,
yeah.
because like I mean, it's a good character archetype, because like you've got your dumbass character who's like, you know, pure intentions, super strong, absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
And then as you get into like the Hashira and like the upper and lower demons, you get their background, you get that kind of context to why they are the way that they are. And I mean, I think Rengoku should have had a better outcome, but that is just me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because that's my boy.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I have like the degree of characters that I like. Like I have my son, which would be Inosuke.
Yeah.
There is the husbando, which is Rengoku, and
Yeah.
then me, which is Iguro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the cranky goth with a weird pet. And Rengoku's just sunshine and rainbows, golden retriever, which is just the archetype I really like.
Yeah.
But again, like a lot of Demon Slayer is very character driven. So that's that, and like the animation's great. The OPs consistently slap.
Yeah.
Like I could listen to like Akaboshi on repeat.
Yeah.
I have. It was my number one song of 2022. Spotify's like, you fucking weeb.
Oh yeah. All of my like Spotify from like 2021, I want to say, to now is like all anime music, and they're like, what is wrong? What's are you okay?
It's like your genres are like pop, power metal, J-pop,
Yeah.
and like the mood whiplash is
Yeah.
astronomical.
Yeah. Like last year, I think it was a Genshin cover. Was my most listened to song, and I'm like, oh god, I'm one of those, aren't I?
It's like I have no idea what they're saying, but damn, does it slap.
Yeah. The funny thing about Demon Slayer is it can show a character to me and be like, I hate this character, and then show the character doing something absolutely badass, and I'm like, stop.
Just like,
I'm supposed to hate him. Like Sonomy, like Wind Hashira or what. I hated him for the longest time. I'm like, I hate you. You're a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, he's a fart in the wind for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then we saw the first episode in theaters, and we saw that opening with Sonomy and Ikuro, and literally that ended, and I went, they did it again. Fuck. I was like, oh no, he's badass. I love him.
Oh no, I like him.
Oh no.
Fuck.
Yeah, we've watched it like I want to say 3 times over now. And every time I love Tanjiro more and more. I love that sweet cinnamon roll.
Yeah, too good, too pure.
Yep.
Don't break the cutie, please. Don't break the cutie.
Yeah. One thing I really like about Demon Slayer is they, like you said, they give everyone kind of that like.
Yeah, like Hashira or Demon, they give you that backstory.
Yeah, that moment to care. Like after pretty much every demon dies, you see the backstory and what.
Yeah, of why they are the way that they are.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's
God
all trauma.
damn.
It's sad.
It's all trauma.
It's sad.
It is.
I mean, I watch the Mugen Train arc to feel things sometimes.
God.
If I'm feeling particularly like emotionless,
Yeah.
I'm like, how about I cry again?
Yeah.
There goes my boy.
Yeah.
No, my boy. No. And then I don't eat donuts for like 2 weeks straight after.
Dude, you have when we went to, I think it was New York 2 years ago, there was too many Dunkin' Donut Rengokus, way too much, and I'm like, and then this year, there was another donut. I'm not gonna say the character, but there was a donut, a specific anime character, and I'm like, you awful human. I hate you. I respect you, but I hate you.
Like, great job, but also, fuck you.
Yeah. But one of our friends refused to watch the Mugen Train like arc/movie for an entire year because she didn't want to see what happened.
Oh, yeah.
And we like forced her. We're like, you have to get through this.
Yeah, my sister's going on 10 years not going beyond episode 8 in Gurren Lagann.
Oh.
Yeah, she refuses to watch the rest of the show. She's like, I am not going through that 3-episode arc. I saw you sobbing in the corner after. No. And I'm like, bitch, you need to finish it. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you get into the overanalyzing anime?
Definitely part of my university degree has something
Yeah.
to do with that.
Yeah.
Because it's it's like research based, and we all consume media. Media is just something that we're always around. And I find a lot of media is just like, don't think about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, we're presenting this at face value, and like, it's fine, it's great. Don't think about the nitty gritty. And then there's me when I walk into like a show or a movie. I'm like, okay, so we've got 2 women here. Are they talking about a man? No. Okay, great. I can keep going. But if it's like a show where it's just all dudes, a complete sausage fest, and like roosters, all these roosters with one hen in the hen house, and I can't do it because like my brain is like, this is sexist as hell.
Yeah.
And I find that like it doesn't like discount the shows that I enjoy. I find that in order for you to like truly enjoy something, you need to be a little critical about it.
Yeah.
Because like nothing's perfect, nothing's flawless, obviously. One of like the other panels that I've done previously was looking into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and how it showed examples of non-toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Because like JoJo has like this very like all the men are shaped like Doritos.
Yeah.
They're all super strong and they have a stand. What's a stand? Even Araki doesn't know what a stand is.
Yeah.
He forgot 20 years ago, so he's just rolling with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, the man's a vampire. He hasn't aged in like 20 years, so I'm like, drop the skincare routine, bestie. But I found that like there were examples of like non-toxic masculinity because some men were like overly emotional and like visibly sobbing and crying and getting upset at obviously incredibly traumatizing things. And I kind of took that and like ran with it.
Yeah.
Because there are so many representations in media, whether Western or otherwise, where like it's just manly men doing manly things.
Yeah.
Like I've just drank a beer. I'm going to go take my Jeep off-roading and get covered in dirt, and then I'm going to go fuck my wife. And it's just, and that's just so prevalent that like when you're seeing stuff that's the opposite, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And I find, although people say that JoJo's very manly, has a lot of homoerotic undertones.
Yeah.
And
the sky is also blue.
In other news, water is wet.
Yeah.
And do bear shit in the woods.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of adds on to it because like as you go like progress through the series, like they go from being shaped like Doritos to being shaped like fashion twinks.
Yes.
And like I could write a master's thesis on JoJo. I love JoJo, and I love like the thought and the intent that goes into it because a lot of like the outfits that they wear. This is me going into cosplay mode here.
Yeah. The fashion
all of that.
in JoJo. Oh
it
my
is
God.
improbable.
Yeah.
Impeccable. Completely executable.
Yeah.
Because it's all based off of couture and on like high fashion. So those silhouettes are like easily accessible. And I always say there's no wrong color in JoJo. So you can like pick whatever color combination you want.
Yeah.
Put it on a JoJo character. It's canon. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think anything in like any lighting in JoJo's ever been consistent ever. But again, I'm kind of circling back to like, in order to enjoy something, you need to criticize it.
Yeah.
So like, while I'm not saying like JoJo's the best thing on the planet, obviously, because it's not without its flaws.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is a good representation of like non-toxic masculinity that we as like anime nerds should take into consideration. I just like making people just kind of, I like planting that seed and making them think. And
Yeah.
making them kind of think twice about like consuming media. Because like, again, media is always shoved in our face. It's music, it's advertisements, it's TV shows, it's like the weird creepy shit that gets like advertised to me on Instagram. Like I mentioned one thing yesterday about, because I work in the vet industry, so excuse me. Like I got an advertisement about when the best time is to spay your dog, and I'm like, I don't have a fucking dog. And like the algorithm is like, oh, we're gonna bring this media into you, and like my CSIS agent is like, she talked about anime. Give her an anime advertisement right now. So I just feel like taking that moment to like stop and think and like give somebody else that opportunity to stop and think, and then when they go to interact with that media again, they're like, okay, well, now I can watch for like that non-toxic masculinity, or next time I watch this, I'm going to think about the Bechdel test. I like making people think. I like to give them a little nugget of education to take with them when they leave my panel. I was going to be a teacher, but they didn't let me in, so now I answer phones for a living. But hey, well, clearly I'm using this history degree, but whatever.
So speaking on the like anime that has like kind of, I don't know, what were you saying, the toxic masculinity kind of shows that you can be can cry and whatever. I think Skate the Infinity does such a good job with that.
Okay, I'm not familiar, but do tell.
It's a skateboarding anime.
Ooh,
and it's
you had me at sport anime.
Yeah, and it's how do we say it? Quite fruity, without saying it's quite fruity.
I fucking love fruit salad, so sign me up.
Oh my god, it is so good, and it shows because one of the main characters, or it's like two of the main couple, I guess, the non-canon main couple.
You look at them like. Everyone says, oh, they're best friends, but like if you watch a show, it's just like they're boyfriends. Yeah. This is Sappho and her roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They go through like emotions and like and Reki kind of the main character, I guess. Yeah. Shows that like men can be dramatic.
Oh yeah.
Very dramatic. And like Cherry and Joe are like very like Cherry's very kind of more feminine than Joe, and Joe is like
like I eat raw beef for breakfast.
Exactly.
My life is a bass guitar.
Yeah, but I think that's a show that really shows there are different kinds of men everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fantastic show. I love it. Adam can go to hell. The English dub is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It leans way more into the fruity.
Good.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's what they did with the JoJo dubs too.
I remember seeing an interview with the voice director being like, we know what we read, and we kind of
just we saw what the translation was, and we were like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever heard anybody say, hey, bitches and bros and non-binary hoes?
I am going to start taking that as like my own vibe.
Yeah, that's yeah, they added that in.
I love it when they're given that kind of leeway. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, I don't need it needs no introduction, but ghost stories.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I still haven't finished it, but anytime my partner and I are like we've had we shared a bottle of wine. I've already gone out for like my Toki Poo, and I'm like, let's watch something stupid that's A, not gonna rot my brain. Yeah. And B, like we're both gonna enjoy it. And then we just plop on ghost stories.
Yeah. It's not for the fainted heart.
It did not age well.
No. That's why I was like,
it aged poorly.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, like that like thing of cream you have in the back of your fridge that's been sitting there for a year and you're scared to open it because it's ungodly expired. That's
ghost stories.
Ghost stories. Yeah. It's rotted. It's awful. But little monkey brain go haha.
Yeah.
So
straight up, it's so stupid, and I have a very soft spot for it.
Me too.
Yeah. It's
great to watch with drunk friends.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to watch with. It's literally like watching an abridged series.
Yeah,
like
it's like abridged before the abridged, but they got paid to do this abridged.
Yeah.
because like Japan's like it did all right. We're having trouble selling it.
Just do whatever.
Here's the rights, do whatever, and then like early Funimation people were like, bet.
Yeah, they're like, let's see how far we can take it, and they're like, I didn't know we could take it that far. God.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, it got recommended to me because a couple years ago I put on my Instagram story being like, recommend me anime and I'll watch it, blah, blah, blah. And someone said Ghost Stories. I was like, okay, whatever. I'd never heard of this, whatever. And I put it on and went, what the fuck did you recommend me? I was supposed to watch the first 3 episodes, and I was like, how am I going to review this?
It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, I'm just like, the what? What's going on? Like, literally, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you can't say anything. It's like this character said redacted to redacted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can't quote it.
I mean, the one quote that you can say is like, I like to say dropping my kids off at the pool.
Yeah.
That's like as far as you can go. And like, that's like the...
Oh, yeah.
As a lapsed Catholic, anytime, like, oh, God, what's her name? Girl with the purple hair comes on, she starts talking about Jesus. I'm like... Ooh, that's bomb for my lapsed Catholic soul. This is sacrilege. I'm living for it.
So JoJo's.
Yes.
I've had a few people on that like JoJo's is their favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Why is JoJo your favorite? Because every answer is completely fucking different.
So, part of it is like, I'm gonna be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Part of it is like a little bit about my gender journey. Because when I started cosplaying, I started doing like high femme characters because that's what I thought I was supposed to do because, you know, I'm feminine. I should be dressing feminine.
Yeah.
And I started going like doing JoJo cosplays, and I started with Lisa. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like easy. I can kind of transition myself into that. And then I didn't get to part 3. My gateway into JoJo was the OVA from the 90s, which is how everybody should start JoJo. Is with the shitty OVA from the 90s because that is my burden. I have to pass to somebody else because I suffered. You must suffer too. And then when I like actually watched that OVA with my friend, we actually watched it hungover in her guest room after Anime Week in Atlanta 2018, and she just showed me the whole thing, and I was like, do I want to be them? Do I want to be Dio is the question. And the answer is yes. And then I made my Dio cosplay and I was like, wait, why do I get euphoria from dressing like this effeminate vampire asshole? Like, and just as I continued to like, you know, redevelop like my cosplay style and what I prefer to like wear for conventions, I started steering away from like more feminine characters and then started going in for like more masculine and more like, you know, masculine for lack of a better term. I say Bishonen because that's kind of the vibe I want. Yeah. I want to be a pretty boy. I just want someone to call me a pretty boy. But like, and then JoJo being like super extra and flashy and like men having very like feminine features or very feminine mannerisms, and I was like, okay, I can vibe with this. So like, I'm not saying JoJo made me non-binary, but I'm not denying it. Yeah. But that's one of the main reasons why I like it so much because like it kind of takes like, you know, the muscles of the masculine and then mixes it with the high fashion of the feminine. So it's taking two things that are like classically like this is what a man is supposed to look like, and then this is what a female looks like, and they just kind of slap them together and then make these weird Dorito twunks, and I'm like, I'm for this. I'm for this with the guys with the superpowers named after Alan Parsons Project. I'm fucking for it. Love it. And the dad rock thing is also just a little in there just as a treat for me. Yeah. But like Araki-san personally did that for me.
Of course.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome. So if you were to, if someone came up to you and was like, I want to get into JoJo, what's your pitch to them? Because pitching JoJo is very,
I like to say trust the process.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, I would say start with the shitty 90s OVA because that is going to give you a primer. So that's going to give you an idea of the kind of shit you're going to have to deal with. And I find that the OVA is played it's very early 90s, so it's trying to appeal to like, the Terminator crowd and like the like edgy weebs in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
So that's kind of who they're trying to market it to. But when you actually like read the manga and then you get to the like rebooted series from like the mid 2010s.
Yeah.
Then you're kind of seeing like JoJo. It's not that serious. It's a very silly show.
It is.
Like obviously it has its moments of like, like dire, like this thing has dire consequences and like, is our character going to make it out of here or not? Who knows? And they also don't like shy away from like major character deaths. So like that's kind of like part of it, but I say start with that OVA and then go start yourself from Phantom Blood all the way up to Golden Wind. And no, not Golden Wind. It's part 6 now, so that is I know the name Stone Ocean. I was going to call it Lesbians in Jail, which is just basically what it is.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's lesbians in jail.
Yeah.
And then after part 6, there's like a reset and a time skip. So I'm not going to spoil anything or like what happens, but like just so you're prepared, there's a time skip and a complete lore reset. Because I guess Araki was like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. And we're just going to start fresh, just like done.
Yeah.
But like pitching JoJo is just like, I know it's wild. I know it looks weird. I know there's a lot you need to process within the first like 3 episodes of Phantom Blood, but trust me. Like you just gotta trust me, homie. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going until it hits its stride, and you're like, I can't stop.
Yeah.
I have to go. I have to keep going. I have to keep going. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are they gonna go to Egypt? Like, how is Joseph still alive? And it's like, why are they in jail?
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your favorite part that's been animated?
I'm basic as hell, and I'm going to say part 3.
Okay.
So that is the we're going to Egypt on a friendship journey.
Yeah.
It's the friendship journey to Egypt to kill the evil vampire man, who is also my husband, my trash man.
Yeah.
Like, I love Dio. I have a thing of collecting guys who are kind of assholes, specifically blonde assholes. But
he's like the biggest blonde asshole.
Oh yeah, like he's fucking terrible.
Horrible.
Like
he's the someone said it's like, who's the biggest hater in anime, and someone's like, it's Dio. There's thousands of years of hate. Like,
his name means God.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all coming from the person with the stone mask tattooed on their calf. So
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not biased, but I am also very biased. But like, what I really like about part 3 is that like it's not quite the end of that arc with Dio because it's just like, as long as like Dio is around, or there's like an heir of Dio, or like, spawn of Dio, like the son of a bitch is always there. You just can't escape him, no matter how hard you try.
Yep.
Like part 1, Dio was an asshole.
Yep.
Part 2, didn't see Dio, but you felt his presence because of things.
Yeah.
And then part 3, obviously, Dio is like, surprise, bitch. Bet you thought you saw the last of me. I'm back. And then he's gone. And then you have to deal with like part 4, which I think is mostly Dio-less. And then part 5 is his crotch spawn. Part 6 is his boyfriend causing problems.
Yep.
Dio is canonically a bi-disaster.
Yep.
We love the trope that all vampires are dumb and bisexual. Well, Dio's not so much dumb. He's a dickhead, but, still, vampires.
Yeah.
Bisexual. And, like, I don't really go beyond, like, part 7, part 8, because that's really beyond, like, what's considered common knowledge now, so I'm not going to go into, like, those details, but it's fascinating, and Dio comes back. in some way or form, son of a bitch is gonna be back.
Oh my god.
Just like literally, just like, oh my god, holy shit. That's one of my favorite like full like supercuts of like best Joseph oh my god moments.
Yeah.
Like that lives in my head rent free. That and Sonochino Sadame.
Yeah.
OP that slaps.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
every JoJo OP, I'm like, god damn. Like
Like,
the
it
music
gets
in
better.
JoJo is so good.
Yeah. And then like the end credits is just like Roundabout by like fucking what's that band? Oh, I'm losing my dad points right
Yeah.
now because I can't think of the Yes is the name of the band.
Oh yeah.
And like they did Roundabout and
Yeah.
then they did Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles.
It's just fucking crazy.
And then see, like part 4 was like I Want You by Savage Garden,
Oh my god.
which is like, you know, banger.
Yeah.
And then the one for part 6. Oh, no, Freaking You was the part 5 closing. Was the part 5 EP.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then the last one was like a nice Robin song.
Yeah.
I don't quite know the name of it, but it's very nice.
Yeah.
So like banger after banger after
Yeah.
banger
Yeah.
after banger
Yeah.
for EPs that are like they had the rights to the song, so they're like, we're just gonna run with it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yep. Like
Yeah.
we got the rights to Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. By God, we're gonna
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah, exactly. Deepest apologies, by the way, to the JoJo fans for the couple episodes ago where I said Jolene's my favorite character, and I said part 5 instead of part 6. I literally
We forgive you. It's fine.
I said part 5, and I went, "You're wrong," and I still said it. I was like sick, and then I was editing. I was like, "Uh-oh." JoJo fans scare me.
That's where you get like the monotone like audio edit.
Yeah.
Like part 6.
Yeah, part 6, and I'm like,
I mean, like, hey, we forgive you. There's
Yeah.
a lot to JoJo.
Oh my God.
JoJo, like, if there was an encyclopedia for any anime, it would be
Yeah.
JoJo, because there's a lot. There's like side characters.
Yeah,
there's
there's-
like OVAs.
yeah.
There's like collaborations with literal fucking Gucci.
"Let's go."
Like
Yeah.
Gucci and like Versace in
Yep.
like Italy. Like
So
some
sick.
Oh yeah, some of those like designs for like
Oh.
Jolene are just impeccable. I could just go on and on about like
Yeah.
how like yes, it's insane what JoJo characters look like.
Yes.
But like theoretically, it is possible to execute. It's not fun,
No.
but it's executable.
Yes.
My life will never be free of that blue spandex I bought for Dio, but like it was holographic, it was shiny, it was blue. I'm like, I have to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I have to. Like legally, I need to spend $27 a yard on this.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
damn.
And I still have bits of it floating around my apartment because goddamn, I'm using every square
Yeah,
inch
I was
of that
gonna say,
shit.
yeah, shit. God damn. Yeah, I've said on the show so many times, like fashion in anime and manga excites me
Oh yeah.
to no extent. Like the amount of times where I'm reading a shoujo and they have different outfits, and I'm like, I love this so much. like you, just
Like alternate outfits or
Oh.
like, oh yeah. So
every date outfit's a different outfit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
let's fucking go.
yeah, the drip.
Yeah,
I love
let's
the
go.
drip.
Yeah.
Um,
We're not wearing a school uniform? Fuck yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're wearing a different kimono today. Great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Like,
Love it.
in at least Sailor Moon, either Sailor Moons, original or Crystal, the outfits, oh my god. The like out of school outfits, adorable. Mamoru,
Bunny umbrella, gimme.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Mamoru's fucking green jacket, iconic.
Oh yeah.
Love it. But yeah, I was like, JoJo has the best fashion.
Oh
in
yeah.
all
Like
of
hands down the best character and costume design
Yeah.
that I've encountered.
Mhm.
And I've encountered many.
Yeah.
And like my background with like sewing and costuming is historical costuming because of course it is.
Yeah.
And the thing with historical costuming is that you got to do every single step or else it's just not going to look great.
Yeah.
And I've been on the receiving end of not reading the instructions and then assembling my shit and being like, oh fuck, that's backwards. I got to do that all over again.
Yeah.
So like I say it keeps me accountable. So it forces me to like take these extra steps
Yeah.
and make sure everything looks good before I move on.
Mhm.
And I had to use a lot of that like kind of mentality when putting together JoJo stuff, because while it's not, you know, historical costuming per se, unless you want to go like Phantom Blood, because that is, you know bustle era.
Yeah.
But like it's like, it just makes you think like, okay, when I'm assembling this, I'm using a pinstripe fabric. I'm going to make sure I line this shit up, because while nobody else is going to know, I'm going to know. And I want everyone to know that I spent 2 hours specifically lining the skirt up.
Yeah.
So, but like, again, like JoJo, it's ridiculous, yes, but absolutely attainable. And then when you go to something like, say, Kill la Kill, where it is like, you know, something special, but absolutely not attainable.
No.
And
thank you, Trigger.
Like, yeah, Trigger. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
But there are just some costume choices.
Yep. Just
in
a little
that
bit.
show where no amount of fashion tape will ever. What, bad gust of wind?
Those biddies are out.
Yep. I mean, as a lesbian, I'm looking respectfully, but also these are children, so I should not be looking.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, another gripe I have with Trigger. But
yeah. Yeah.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
No, we'd be here all day, and this podcast would be several hours long.
Yes.
I'd have like my like little murder board with like the red thing. Just you have to listen to this. It all means something.
Yeah. God. Yeah. Though it's the same reason I couldn't get into 7 Deadly Sins.
I mean, like for me, it was the character design that I couldn't quite get past.
Yeah.
Like the girl
too.
with the hammer is cute. Yeah, I get that. But like
it was
beyond
just
that,
the tiny little man grabbing boobs, and I'm like,
this is somebody's power fantasy, but it's not mine.
Nope.
Same thing with Dragon Maid.
Oh, Miss
Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, or Dragon Cafe or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the girl designs, like the character designs are very cute.
Yeah.
But also one of the main characters is like what, a 500,000-year-old dragon that is a literal child.
Yeah.
So that's fucking weird, dog.
Yeah. I like the animation. The animation is beautiful because it's Kyoto animation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's. Yeah.
Take or leave.
Yeah. There's some shots where I'm like, you didn't have to have her running like that.
That's why I couldn't do Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah, no.
Like they had me at Trigger and Robot, and then I watched the first 15 minutes of the episode, and creepy grandpa like got his panty shot. I'm like, I'm done.
Yep.
Like, I'm done. I have COVID. I can't fucking watch this. I can't do this.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the same with 7 Deadly Sins, where the first 15 minutes he's like, titty, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't.
Yeah.
And she's like, out cold. I'm like, nope.
No. Jail.
I tried.
Jail.
I tried.
Straight to jail.
You know
right
what?
away.
I tried. I like the rundown of the story. That's kind of cool.
And then you're just calling the cops on yourself after. I'm like, I just watched something really inappropriate. I'm so sorry. I'm reporting myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
God.
I can get through some like spice or whatever. That's
fan
fine.
service
Fan
has
service,
its place.
It has its place, but
to quoteth God on high, Hayao Miyazaki, anime was a mistake. All of it is trash. I shit you not. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
But he was referring more to like the fan servicey stuff, like that. Like what he's saying is that it's pandering to the least common denominator, which is perverts.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes away like from quality storytelling. And again, like Studio Ghibli is very much animation as high art.
Yes.
Because it's what they do best. Like some of the best like anime, like animation, if we even want to call it anime, has always been Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Like that is the top tier.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like anything else, the bar's on the fucking floor. So like if I'm watching like a movie or something and I'm like, is this Ghibli quality? Okay, great. Perfect. I'll watch it. But if it's anything else, I'm like, the bar is in hell. And like if I don't like it, fine. But if I do like it, okay, this is going to be my hyper focus for another like several weeks.
Yeah.
Let's see how long my partner lasts.
Yeah. I put Ghibli in a different like even like
it's in
realm
its own
of like
its own category.
Anime movies because like you have your beautiful like I'll say Belle or like Your Name. Beautiful, gorgeous, like Suzume was also beautiful, like
Suzume is on my watch list.
Yeah, it's the story's kind of okay.
Meh. Okay.
But the animation's beautiful.
Okay.
There's a lot of like very nice just shots of backgrounds and
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
like environment.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, lots of that.
I love me a good environment.
Yeah, yeah. There's so some of the stories just like, but like, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's one I saw in the theater, and I was like, I could never see that again. That's
It's
fine.
I can watch it once. And
Yeah.
you're like one time and you're good.
Yeah,
But like with Studio Ghibli or
Yeah.
when it comes to like Wolf Children,
yeah,
like that's something I know I can watch again and again and again, and
Yeah.
I will still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'll still cry.
Yeah.
Obviously, but yeah, watch
Yeah.
Wolf Children is what I'm
That's
saying.
that's me with a sign. I almost call it a sign of affection. Silent voice.
Not familiar, but
Yeah.
put
It's-
that in my periphery.
Yeah, it's Kyoto Animation again, and
I
it is.
think Kyoto also did Wolf Children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, it's it is fantastic, a beautiful movie. I cry every goddamn time. It is my favorite anime movie.
Yeah, like this if you cry every time.
Yeah, literally. Like, oh my god.
I mean, I'm the same way with Mugen Train. Like I said, if I need to feel something, I
Yeah.
will put on that. Like I prefer to watch like
Yeah.
the season rather
Yeah.
than the movie, and then just watch the end of my Blorbo every once in a blue moon. R.I.P. my boy. Like literally, he's on my keys. Hold on.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my
I always
God.
keep that thing on me.
Okay. Damn.
Like I keep
oh,
my
that's a thick boy too.
yeah. So every time I sit down, I'm like, why does my ass hurt? Oh yeah, I'm sitting on this giant fucking keychain.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't kidding when there's like I'm building a shrine to this
Yeah.
man. Like, I'm a lesbian, by the way. Why do I care this much about a dude? I don't know.
yeah.
But hey, he was a good boy, and I love him.
Yeah. Best boy.
Yeah, best boy.
Thank
Shed
you
a
so
tear.
much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I invited myself,
Oh
so
my
I was just like, hey, so you need to feel talking to your podcast? I'm a
Yeah.
huge fucking weeb. Let me talk on your podcast.
And I was like, weeb?
You don't say.
Yeah.
Ooh, mm.
Where can the lovely people find you?
You guys can find me at Gingie Blue Cosplay on both Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is a bit of a dead zone, but I'm more active on Instagram if you're looking for a person like myself who likes to dress up like pretty men and get a little unhinged on my stories. Especially when it comes to my bird children, because they'll show up. If you like
Yep.
birds, hit me up.
Yeah. You can follow me at Corky Cosplays on Instagram, Adam Corky everywhere else. Subscribe to the Do You Watch Anime YouTube channel. Listen to it on Spotify if you want. Donate to the Ko-fi. It really helps me out and helps run this show. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Oh, bye-bye.
Tip your artists. Be new to your pets. Bye.